Hello everyone. In this session we'll be learning about course reversals. So before learning about course reversal, we should know what is a course reversal. So for example, if I'm following a radial and I want to come back on the same radial, maintaining the same radial coming back is known as course reversal. So there are three types. Now can do one thing, come like this. The second option is coming back like this. The third option is coming like this. And my intention is to reverse the course. Basically, if I'm following radial 090 and I want to come back on the same radial inbound, that is course reversal. Now, before commencing the course reversal, we have to do some checks known as 5 T's in aviation. 5 T's refers to turn, time, twist, throttle and torque. So basically, once I'm reaching a certain point, I'll start my rate 1 turn, as we always follow rate 1 turn in instrument flying. Then I'll start my timer if required. Then I'll twist my OBS or course to the desired course. For example, if I'm turning right, I'm going on radial 090, my radial course will be set outbound for 090. Now I'm coming back, so I have to set it to 270, which I explained in the radial interception class. Next is throttle, which is as required to maintain the altitude, maybe to descend or maybe to climb. And torque, that we are commencing a course reversal on a particular radial. Now in instrument flying, there are also some further checks that we have to do, typically known as hat checks. Hat is basically setting the heading bug. A is altitude bug and T is timer on standby. If required, we'll use, if not, we will not. Or if it is not reset, we have to keep it back to 0. Now course reversal is categorized into two types. Number 1, time based. Number 2, non-time based. In non-time based, we follow known as 80 to 60 turn. In time based, we follow further two types known as teardrop or 30 to 10 and commonly used procedure turn known as 45 180. So understand, these are two different type of course reversal which I'll be teaching you right now, and which is the standard to be followed everywhere. Starting with the non-time based. For example, if this is a fix, I'm proceeding outbound on a radial of 090. Let's say I'm here. So 2 nautical mile prior, I'll carry out my hat checks. During the turn, I'll carry out my 5 T's. Now, if I'm at this point, my intention is to reverse my course maintaining the same radial. That means I'm going on 090 and I have to come back on 090, but in the opposite direction. Basically, if I'm going outbound, I'll be coming inbound now. So, in the first method, which is non-time based, also known as 80 to 60, what we need to do is, whatever heading we are flying, in this case, for example, we are flying 090, I'll start turning right or left, whatever. In this case, I'm turning right and add 80 degrees to my current heading. So 90 plus 80 will give me 170. So I'll start turning and as I reach 170, I'll start turning in the opposite direction for my desired course. Remember, this is always a rate 1 turn. So if I do it correctly and considering nil winds, I'll be back on my desired course with my OBS set and my CDI centered as I turn back for heading 270. So this is the first type known as 80 to 60 turn. Now, as I told you that we are not a mathematician, you will not be able to always add 80 to your desired or your present heading. So in that case, our HSI makes our life easy. So we have the markings of 90 degrees. So if this is 90, the 10 degree prior will be 80. So I have to turn right to reach 80. As soon as I reach here, I'll turn left to reach my desired heading of this, which will be 270 in this case. Now I'll teach you time-based course reversal, which is commonly first teardrop, or also known as 30 to 10. For example, if I'm going outbound again on a radial of 090, two miles prior I have to carry out my hat checks. So heading will be set to now 90 plus 30 or minus 30, depending if I'm turning right or left. So for example, I'm turning right in this case, so I'll set my heading to 120. I'll turn right on 120. As soon as I roll out and get my wings level on heading 120, I'll start my timer for 1 minute. Continuing on this heading for 1 minute, 10 seconds prior to that means approaching 50 seconds, I'll again do my hat checks, and then at 1 minute I'll turn to the opposite direction. If I turned right on the first case, now I'll turn left for my desired heading of 270, and this will look in the shape of a teardrop. That's why it is called teardrop course reversal. Now remember, in 80 to 60 and in 30 to 10, there are two turns. First turn was right and then again left. In this, again right and left. But in the next course reversal, known as procedure turn, or 45 180, it has 3 turns. So again I am going on radial 090 outbound. Now I'll either turn right or left by 45 degrees. So 90 plus 45 will give me 135. Approaching 135 and getting my wings level again, I'll start my timer in this case for 45 seconds. At 35 seconds, I'll again do my hat checks, but in this case, instead of coming back on my desired course, I'll turn opposite of the heading I'm flying right now. That's why I told you it has 3 turns. So after 45 seconds, I'll turn left on the opposite heading of 135, which is 315, and then approaching my desired course, and when the HSI is showing that my CD is getting centered, I'll turn left for my desired course. That's why it has 3 turns, number 1, number 2 and number 3. This is one of the most commonly used course reversal methods, and again we have to do the 5 T's as well as the hat checks whenever we have to turn, whenever the timer is required. So this is all about course reversal. Now I'll just tell you why is it called 80 to 60. So if I turn by heading 80 and then turn on the opposite direction by 260, that will give me 260 minus 80 equal to 180 degrees change. Similarly, if I turn 30 then opposite direction 210, it will give me 210 minus 30 as 180 degree change. That is why we are able to reverse the course. Now understand, I told you again, we are not a mathematician, we are a pilot. We do not need to calculate again whatever I'm flying and adding 45 or subtracting 45. Why? Because at this case my HSI has a marking of 45 degrees as well. So if I'm going here and I have to turn right for this, so this is 45 degree heading. At this case, when I have to turn 180 degrees to this, in that case, if I'm flying this heading, then 180 degree will be bang opposite to that. So I have to just shift from this heading to this heading. So do not use calculations, get rid of them. That will be much easier for you to understand, and it is very difficult to fly as well as calculate whatever heading we are going to fly. So that is all about course reversals. Thank you.